Dear students, hope you are all well. So today we will begin with a new chapter in EVS Part 1. The name of the chapter is Methods of Preserving Food. Now, we are all aware that we eat food for proper growth and nourishment, right? It is very important for every living world. But do you know that which all methods should be used to preserve the food? Sometimes when the foods are prepared at home or when you purchase, then how can you preserve these foods so that it lasts longer? So these all things we are going to study in this chapter. Let's move forward. Now, which all points we are going to cover in this chapter? That is food and microorganisms, different varieties of foods, different varieties of foodstuffs as available as per the seasons. That is, seasonal fruits and vegetables are available in the market and accordingly we consume them. That means accordingly we eat them. Even, even we have to learn that how we can preserve the food and which all different methods are there that are being used to preserve the food. Let's move forward. Now, what's the introduction? We eat wide varieties of foodstuffs in our diet. We like to have many varieties. We like to have wheat, rice, pulses, grains, and so on, as well as different types of fruits and vegetables. So, these are available throughout the year. But their crops get ready only at a certain time in the year. That is, they are not grown throughout the year. In order to have the grain available throughout the year, one season crops must be stored and protected till the next season. Now just take an example of rice. You know that the crop of rice requires more amount of water. That is why it is called as a monsoon crop. Rice is called as a monsoon crop. On the other hand, wheat requires less amount of water. So it is a summer crop. But wheat is available to us throughout the year, right? We get wheat throughout the year. Is it like that it is available only in the summer or rice is available only in the rainy season? No, it's available throughout the year. That means what? We are storing these grains so that we can utilize them throughout the year. Let's move forward. Now, all the foodstuffs cannot be produced at the same places because as per the climatic condition, wide varieties of crops are grown in different regions. It requires different climate. So different foodstuffs are produced in different places and they have to be made available in good condition to the people at the long distances. Now, just take an example of apples. Now, we all know that apples are produced in Jammu and Kashmir. We get apples from which place? Jammu and Kashmir. So, it is like that apples are found only there and others cannot have it. Is it like that apples only the people who are living in Jammu and Kashmir can have apples? No, even we can have it. So what it is? It is being transported. But while transportation, one should be careful that the things that are being sent to the other places need to be carefully handled over and it should not get spoiled. Now, for example, it must be ensured that eggs, milk, and milk products remain in good conditions during transport. Now, we all know that eggs are very delicate, right? As it gets touched with any of the things, it can break. If anything touched to it, it can break easily. On the other hand, milk and milk products are also the same way. So, what one should do, one should be very careful that from the farm, okay, from where the place, that is from the farm till it reaches to the user, so it should be taken in a safer manner to the place where it needs to be transported. Okay. Now let's move forward. Now, different fruits and vegetables are available to us throughout the year, right? We get different fruits and vegetables to have throughout the year. Though the season may change, but still these fruits and vegetables are available to us. They also taste their best in that season. Now, these fruits, now suppose you take an example of a mango fruit. Now, mango you get it in the summer season. When you will eat mango in the summer season, it tastes the best in that season. Previously, apples were just found in which season? In which season you find apples? They were found only in the winter season. But now apples are available throughout the year, right? And it tastes the similar when they are found in winter season. Okay? So, to prevent these large quantities of fruits and vegetables from getting spoiled and to enjoy them all year around, we make efforts to preserve them. So, we have to preserve these fruits. It's very important. Not only fruits and vegetables, now, your family members, your mummy also must be storing grains at home, and that needs to be stored and preserved in a proper way. Otherwise, it may get spoiled. Now, grains, you can't keep it in a wet place. If you keep it in a wet place, those grains will the grains will also become wet and they will get spoiled. So, proper medicines and chemicals are added. So, they are kept when they are kept at a dry place so that it should not get spoiled. In the same way, when these fruits and vegetables are stored, shopkeepers need to take care. Okay, proper care they need to take. Now, in the summer season, okay, in the summer season, your grandma or your mama or your aunts must be preparing papads, jams, pickles, onions, fishes, and masalas. And they preserve them throughout the year in their homes. Now these things which are being made, all these papad, jams, pickles, now in which season they make it? In the summer season. Okay? They keep by keeping them in big containers, right? We store them in containers. Nowadays, we can buy such ready products in the market too. We get all these ready products in the market too. But rather than buying from the market, as it is added by preservatives, so what people prefer? People prefer to make them at home. That is homemade. And even in the market, you get homemade things. People prefer such things because they are safe and healthy for eating. So these all things are available throughout the year. Now, why your mama or your grandma makes these things in the summer season? Why? In the summer season, you get good sun so that those things get dried up properly. No water remains in that. So when you make papads also, you have to dry it in the sun. When you make masala also, you have to dry the chilies in the sun. So they make these mostly in the summer season. Okay, let's move to the next. Now, your mummy prepares vegetables, grains, pulses at home, right? And she uses onions, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies, and so on. Why? To add flavor, to add taste to the food. And the vegetable or pulses, whatever she is preparing, now to prepare this, she stores these things at home, right? All these things are stored at home. Yes, you can go and check it in the kitchen. You will get an idea that she stores these things and keep it so that whenever it is required, it can be used, isn't it? Right? Like that, if these things are required, you go to the market and purchase them one by one and bring it at home. Is it like that you go for each and everything to the market and purchase one things and come back home? No, when you need something, you buy it together and then keep it in the house. So whenever you require, you can prepare it, right? These things can be stored and preserved properly in the house, and then these things can be used for several days. If the food prepared for one meal may not be used at once and it is left, so there are certain methods where you can preserve these food and keep it safely for the next day. If for one, like for the lunch, you have cooked the food and it is left, what you will do, what you want to, you can't throw that, right? So what we do is we preserve it. We preserve it, either we keep it in the refrigerator or keep it in a dry place and preserve it. Okay, so then we use certain methods of keeping it from spoiling. So what we do to keep it safe? We keep them in the refrigerator, and because of the cool temperature, the food in the refrigerator may not get spoiled for 2 to 3 days. And even vegetables and fruits are being stored in the refrigerator so that we can preserve them for a longer period of time. Let's move forward. Now, so children, there is an activity in your EVS 1 textbook on page number 65. And remember, this activity is not compulsory to do. If you're willing to do by yourself and with the help of your parents, then you can try this activity. But remember, it's not compulsory. I'll just explain you. You can go through your textbook. You will get an idea how you have to do this activity. Okay, so try this. What you need to do is you need to make a chapati and divide the chapati into 3 pieces. You can make a small chapati and divide that chapati into 3 pieces. Now what you have to do is put one piece in a closed box. Okay, so it should be kept in a closed box. It should not be roasted, huh? It should not be roasted. Anything should not be done as you are putting it on the rolling pin and board and the chapati. Make it into half and put it into the box. Then the second piece, the second one you can roast from one side on the hot pan. Now it is not safer for you. So you can ask your mummy to help you in this. Without sharing that, it only on the one side you will roast it. Only on one side you have to roast it. And let it cool down, and then again you are going to put this chapati also in the box. So in the first chapati we did not roast it, we just kept it in the box. The second chapati you just roast the one side and then let it cool down and you keep it in the box. Now the third piece of chapati, that is remaining, that is without roasting, you are going to put it in the box and you have to keep it in the refrigerator. The third piece of chapati, you have to put it into the box, and this piece of chapati, you have to keep it in the refrigerator. And this, you're going to keep it for 2 to 3 days. Now, after keeping it for 2 to 3 days, you will see a result. Okay. That result will come to your mind that how this chapati gets fungus on it. So let us see that how the fungus comes into 2 to 3 days and how it looks like, how this fungus looks like. We will see that now. Okay, now after keeping all the 3 chapatis at different places in different box, you may see that all the chapatis may not get fungus. Okay, all the chapatis won't get fungus. 1 or 2 chapatis that may get fungus, and which are they? That you need to observe by yourself. Okay, now what do you see? Now we see white, black or greenish fibers like cotton wool growing on the piece of chapati placed in the closed box. Now you can see in the picture like this, you will come to know that this is the growth of fungus on the chapati. So how the fungus looks, it is like white, blackish or greenish fiber like cotton wool. Okay, it looks like that. Then it also starts smelling. Okay, that chapati will also start smelling when fungus grows on it. Whereas for several days we see no such changes in the crisp piece of chapati or the one that was put in the fridge. Now depending on the season, as the temperature is warm, okay, so fungus can arise easily on the chapati. The temperature, if the season is hot, the fungus grows faster. Okay, but when the temperature is cool, it may take time. That is why things get spoiled easily in the summer season rather than they are preserved in the winter season. In the summer season, always things get spoiled faster. So, to see this fungus, these small microorganisms, you require a microscope because they are so small that you cannot see with the normal eyes. You need to take the help of a microscope. You can see it in the slide that how fungus is being formed on the chapati, and that is a picture of a microscope. You need to see it with that because it's very small. Okay, let us move to the next. Now moving on to the next point is food and microorganisms. Now you know that microorganisms are present all around us in the air as well as in the water. And usually air, moisture and warmth are available where food is kept. So, where are the microorganisms can attack? So these microorganisms can attack in the places where air, moisture means where the place is a little wet, and warmth is there. And these things are available where the food is kept. It means that it is always possible for microorganisms to grow rapidly in our food or foodstuffs. So these microorganisms grow faster where? On our foodstuffs. Okay. Easily it can come there because the temperature is warm, as well as if it is not kept at a cool place, microorganism attack on the food and it can get fungus. So whenever it's kept open, right, in an open place and where the temperature is hot, microorganisms get caught fast, easily on the food. So whenever you're not using, or if your food is out, what you need to do is you have to keep it in the refrigerator. If it is kept in the cool temperature, then the microorganisms do not attack over there. Okay. Next is Microorganisms that are present in the air or in the water are so minute that we cannot see them, but we can see their growth. That means they are very small in size, but it is the growth. Now you know that we have taken an example of chapati. We know that fungus had arisen, right? Microorganisms had attacked. We took an example of that chapati activity, right? Now we seen how after 2-3 days that fungus started coming on the chapati, right? So we cannot feel that, but we can see it with our eyes. That is, the food gets spoiled. Such spoiled food can cause what? If you eat such spoiled food, what will happen? Such spoiled food can cause a stomach ache, diarrhea, vomiting, etc. So, if you consume such kind of food that is being attacked by microorganisms or fungus, bacteria, so it can be dangerous to our health. So sometimes you can get stomach ache, sometimes you can get diarrhea, vomiting, loose motions, and so on. On the other hand, you are going to consume it, right? If you eat it, its nutritive value is zero. That means it is not having any kind of proteins, vitamins, minerals, right? When we have food, what we get? Protein, vitamins, minerals. But if you have the stale food, many days this food is kept, you won't get that nutritive value, won't get that protein, vitamins, and minerals. They are going to help for your growth. They are not going to help for your growth in your body, and sometimes it can even threaten your life. That is, if you eat such kind of food, you can get food poisoning, right? You can get all these problems, food poisoning, and that can even lead to a death of a person. So what we need to do is we need to be very careful if we are eating outside also, and we need to check the things whether they are properly cooked or not, whether it is fresh or not. Whenever you're eating from outside also, we should see that food is fresh, the food is cooked properly, right? Okay, let's move forward. Now, in the beginning of the chapter, we have already seen that we can preserve the food and we can save them throughout the year. And we can use them whenever they are not in available. But still, when we preserve them and store them, we can use them throughout the year. Now, so there are different methods of food preservation. That is drying, cooling, boiling, and packing in airtight cans and using certain preservatives also. So let us see them how we can use these methods to preserve the food. Okay. So the first method is drying. Now you know that sun gives us heat, light, brightness, and so on. And how it provides us a kind of source of energy also. So when we dry the foodstuff, the water content in it is lost, and the water that is lost in it helps the food to preserve it for a longer period of time. So this method is used to preserve foodstuffs like papads, kurdhai, sandwich, wheat, dals, pulses, and so on. So drying method is used. Why? To dry the foodstuff, to remove the water content in it. Okay. Now you can see what is a sandwich. If you ask your parents, they are preparing in the summer season. Either it is prepared with wheat or rice or different grains. Okay, sandwich is prepared with either wheat, rice, or different grains, and through that vegetable is being prepared. So these all methods can be seen to preserve food. Among them one is drying. Okay, this is drying. Now let's move forward. Now the next one is cooling. Now when we speak this word, immediately it comes to our mind that our home refrigerators are there. And that is the best place to preserve the food from getting attacked of fungus or microorganism. So when food is placed in a refrigerator, microorganisms do not get the warmth. Now always remember, microorganism and fungus always grows in a warm place. So if you keep it in the refrigerator, they cannot attack over there. They need for their growth what? Warmth. And this way we can preserve the food for a longer period of time. That is why when your mummy purchases vegetables or fruits, whatever she purchases, milk, she stores it where? She stores it in the refrigerator to preserve it for a longer period of time. Okay. Now the next method is boiling. Now boiling again, this is the very helpful method for the food that are being used at your home or whenever you purchase it from outside. Now when foodstuffs are boiled, the microorganism in them gets destroyed. That is why your mother purchases the vegetable. She adds some spices, right? She adds some spices to it. When she prepares it by, how she prepares it? By cooking on the gas, right? So when you cook it, the microorganism automatically die. Now yes, other than that, just imagine if you eat a raw onion or you eat a raw potato or a raw chili and other raw vegetables, automatically it's going to get digested in the stomach. It is like that? No. Would you eat raw potatoes? No, you cannot eat. What you do is, without adding spices or without adding masalas, the food may not be good to eat, right? Without adding spices, without adding salt, masalas, the food may not get good taste to eat, right? And it may have microorganisms also. If you just eat a raw potato, you cannot see the microorganism as they are very small. So it may have microorganism also that can affect your health. So what we do is we boil those fruits, we boil those vegetables before eating it. Okay. So boiling and cooking is also one of the best option to preserve the food. Okay. The next point is placing in airtight cans. Now, when foodstuffs are preserved in airtight containers, the microorganisms are first destroyed and it is ensured that water or air will not enter the foodstuff. Now, you purchase many packed food from outside to have it. Because why? Because they are tastier. So you feel that you should eat them. So when you purchase them, you know that it is a airtight packed. Okay, it is sealed properly so that air or it should not get affected with water. Or then that microorganism should not attack on that foodstuff. So that is the reason they are packed in the airtight cans or in a proper plastic packed. It means that to preserve foodstuff, the microorganism in them should be destroyed and also they must be placed in condition in which microorganisms will not grow again. So it may not get spoiled. Now see, you purchase the packet products from outside, you know that it is sealed packed and it is suggested to you that if it is open, then please don't purchase it. If anything is open, you should not purchase. Why? You don't know for how many days it might be open in the shop. So you should not purchase any open products. Okay. Why? Because it is for your safety measures. So whenever you're purchasing from outside anything, you need to double cross check that these things, whatever you are purchasing. Okay. Let's move forward. So students, again there is one more activity in your textbook on page number 66. Now it is not compulsory to do it, okay? If it is your wish or you're willing to make it, then you can take help of your parents and prepare it. So to prepare a pickle, you require certain things, okay? So what all materials you require? You require a glass jar, a knife, a spoon, 7-8 lemons, quarter bowl of salt, 2 tablespoons of red chili powder, 1.5 bowl of sugar. Now sometimes if you don't want spicy, then you must not use the chili powder in it. Or sometimes you want more spicy, then you can use the chili powder. Okay. If you want more sugar, then you can use sugar. Or you can, if you don't like sugar, then you can use it in less amount. Now, as per your taste, you need to prepare it. You can see the things that are required in the given slide. Okay, let's move forward. Now, all the materials is ready with you. Now, how you are going to make it? That is the procedure. Now to make this pickle of lemon, you require clean and dry the jar, cut each lemon into 8 pieces. But these pieces in the jar, put these pieces in the jar and add salt, sugar and chili powder. Then mix the ingredients well with a dry wooden or steel spoon. See that your spoon should be dry. If you're going to use wet spoon, your pickle may get spoiled. Okay. So tie a clean piece of cloth over the mouth of the jar and keep it in the sun for about 10 days. You are not going to close it with the lid. Okay. You will not close it with the lid. You're going to cover it with the clean cloth and you're going to tie that cloth on the place where the lid is placed. So after that, you're going to keep that pickle in a hot sun for about 10 to 15 days. And what you have to do is stir it every day with a clean, dry spoon. That is, you need to mix the pickle every day. As well as your hand should also be dried and clean. And after 10 to 15 days, your pickle is ready to eat. Okay. Now, the next thing is, now just now we have seen an activity of a pickle. Okay. Now from this activity, what you come to know? That you have added a salt. You have added salt. You have added sugar. You have added red chili. And it is being asked to you that you have to keep it for 10 to 15 days. You kept this pickle for 10 to 15 days. Now, it may take time to prepare. And after that, it is also a task for a month or two by adding these things. Now, what are all these called? The salt, sugar, chili powder. What are these all called? They are called as preservatives. Okay. Now that helps the pickle to stay it for a longer period of time. All these preservatives helps the pickle to stay for a longer period of time. So certain substances are added to jams and pickles to preserve them for a longer time. They are called as preservatives. So what are preservatives? Sugar, salt, asafoetida, that is hing, mustard, oil and vinegar are some of the examples of preservatives. Now when we use these preservatives in the foodstuff, that foodstuff remain for a longer period of time without getting spoiled and they are being preserved also. So, these play an important part in keeping this foodstuff in a good condition for a longer period of time. The preservatives helps to keep our foodstuff for a longer period of time. Now the next is always remember. Now as we all know that preservatives are added to foodstuff and it lasts for a longer time. So when we purchase the packed food products, whenever we are buying it from outside, the sealed products or the sealed boxes, we need to make sure that we check the details. So when we are buying things from the market, so what we do is we check the details on the packed boxes that are placed on the boxes. Now what all we see? We see the date of printing, okay, manufacturing, the price, the expiry date, right? You can see in the slide that whenever you're purchasing any of the packed products, it can be any of the sealed packs like your wafers, cold drinks, all these are packed products. It carries a date, that is manufacturing date. Now when it is packed, an expiry date till when it is going to last. Expiry date is till when that product is going to last. Now, not only this, on medicines also you have manufacturing date and expiry date, right? So, up till now, you must have not thought of all these things. You must have not noticed about all these things. But from now onwards, you need to be very careful. Whenever you are purchasing such things, though the shopkeeper is known to you still need to be careful when you are purchasing such things. So whenever you're going to shop, you have to see the price, the manufacturing date, the expiry date, and then purchase that product. Okay, let's move forward. That's your homework. The first question is foodstuffs get spoiled early during dash season. The next is when buying food in sealed bags, always check period of dash printed in it. Next, what materials are required to make a lemon pickle? And the last one is what are the different methods of preserving food? That's all for now. Your chapter ends over here. We will learn the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.